Hi guys, it is me, Victoria, and today I wanted to talk about a topic I've really wanted to make a video about for a while because the title of this video it's going to be about the root cause of my depression. So, I was really depressed for honestly most of my life, alright? Um, for most of my teen years, I was very depressed. And then for most of my 20s, I was pretty depressed. Yeah, I did recover from it eventually, and I did improve it gradually, but for a lot of it, I considered myself depressed. Um, when I went back home a couple months ago, I found all the CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy homework that I did to try to cure myself from depression um, in my early 20s. There were stacks, notebooks this big, probably about 8 or 10 of them, like literally this full of different sheets of me trying to talk back to my negative thoughts. So I would put my negative thoughts on one side, identify the cognitive distortions, like, all or nothing thinking or mind reading or fortune telling. And then on the other side, I would substitute more positive thoughts, like more realistic positive thoughts. And to be honest, it made me feel a little better doing those things. And I think it did kind of train me, to think more positively. But it didn't cure me. It didn't. I was still depressed at points. And when I was rereading all my negative thoughts, I saw a theme. And first of all, I want to say I saw an error that I was making, first of all, with these daily mood logs, responding to my negative thoughts. I wasn't accepting my problems, which is something I found super effective that I now try to do. Whenever I'm saying to myself, oh my god, I'm so stupid, like I just said the stupidest thing in the entire world, and before I would just beat up on myself and I would try to talk back like, no, you didn't say anything stupid, it wasn't that bad, probably no one heard. Now I try to say something like, you know what, that was kind of stupid, and sometimes I really do say stupid things, and that's okay. And that befriending my inner critic just worked so much better for me, and I feel finally like at peace with my inner critic. But anyway, besides the fact that my method of combating my negative thoughts was ineffective, I noticed a pattern. The pattern was like the main thing I kept kind of like being depressed about was relationships. Was I'll never be in a relationship, I'll never find love. And when I looked further at the reasons that I thought I would never find a relationship and I would never find love, I realized that it really boiled down to me suppressing and repressing my sexuality in a major way. And what's really interesting to me is that the moment I developed this crazy dream to become a stripper, and the moment I acted on that crazy dream and actually got the job, I I remember I've described this in videos, but it was like a dam breaking. I suddenly felt like the depression just like trickle out of my system like a stream, like a babbling brook. Like it all just like rushed away. Like the depression broke like a storm or a fever breaking. It broke. So what's fascinating is that my sexuality, it's like subconsciously I knew the answer to my depression was to free my sexuality in a way. And so I developed this crazy scheme to become a stripper. And to my conscious mind, I'm thinking, why do I want to do this? This makes no sense. It's like my subconscious was trying to cure me of depression because it knew that my sexual repressing my sexuality was causing me so many issues. Because looking back on my life now, I realized like literally how stupid I was in my early 20s. I'm just like, my huge dilemma of I will never find love. I will never be in a relationship was not really a problem at all. I thought it was a problem, but it wasn't. Because, first of all, I thought I needed a relationship, but what I really needed was sexual agency, sexual freedom, and I needed to sleep with people as I felt like sleeping with people. I shouldn't have been waiting for a relationship suppressing my sexuality. I should have been having multiple adventures. I should have felt free to act on my sexual impulses, and I didn't. When I did do that, pretty much spurred on by the revelations I had as a stripper, I realized that I no longer needed a relationship. My sexuality, alright, it was like a bubbling, burning, brewing volcano throughout my teen years, my 20s, and I was living in a cage. I was completely camouflaging and suppressing it. I've recently been learning a lot more about sexuality, listening to a lot of podcasts, researching kink a lot more, and I've just kind of been blindsided by my ignorance, and I just realized no wonder I was depressed when this huge piece of me was shut down in this tiny box. And like I said, it kind of makes sense because when I figured out the answers to these questions, like how I can find sex, how I can find a relationship, how I don't need to find a relationship, how I can enjoy myself without a relationship, how I can get affection, intimacy without a relationship, all these questions, once I resolved them, my depression went away. And I guess what I'm trying to say is what all those questions have in common is being empowered sexually. And what I mean by being empowered sexually is not accepting the puritanical sexual shame that most people never question. But there is a world of people out there who have broken free from that. And for a certain type of person with a big sexuality or a big interest in that, it is necessary to free oneself from the shame. I mean, like I've said on this channel, I think there's a lot of people out there who don't really have a huge interest in sexuality, and so for them, this world of shaming sexuality works perfectly well for them. But for others, it doesn't. And I really think that this was a core fundamental underlying problem that caused my depression. So yeah, what do you guys think? If you have any thoughts, you probably won't, but if you do, let me know. I'd love to hear them. So thank you for watching and listening.